Okay, in this video we're going to look at basic definition queries, and remember definition queries are a way of constraining data based on attribute characteristics. If we were going to do it via geometries, we would have to either do it through a clip or by select by location. So let's do the definition query, and the first one we're going to do is on the small sheds data set. So again, definition queries, we're going to right click, go to the properties, and in properties we're going to look for the tab that says definition query. If you know exactly what the attribute field is and what your value is, you could type it in, or if you had, again, a Word document full of definition queries, which is actually a good idea if you're doing something repetitive, you could simply paste them in here. But if you're going to build the query, which is what we're going to do, we're going to click on the query builder. And in this case, what we are interested in is the small sheds. So I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to say is equal to. Remember, this is using a logic operators. And in this case, we're going to use the equals to sign. And then for me, what I find useful is to click on the unique values, because that'll give you the formatting of those attributes in the cell. And so in this case, I'm going to go back to our Word document. And you'll notice that in the small sheds, I need numbers 4603 and 4749. So we're going to go back to this, and we're going to type in 4603, and there it is. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go back and check that just to make sure. And yep, 4603, and then 4749. Now, because I want it to be either one of those, I have to use the OR operator, not AND, because that would mean that it would have to have both those numbers. And because they're unique values, that can't be the case. So now I'm going to select the OR operator. Oh, clicked one too many times. Now I have to define the attribute field again, and that is the small sheds. So I'm going to click on that, and then equals. And again, I can then type in my value, 4749. There's my value. I click on it, and I'm going to click OK. And there is our query. You'll notice that meets our criteria here. And so now that I have that, I'm going to hit apply and then OK. And you'll notice that now I have our two small sheds. I'm going to do a similar thing to the HUC12 data set. I'll turn that one on now. And in this case, now you'll notice that in fact we could have simply extracted this one right here. But what I want to do with HUC12 is a similar process. Again, I'm going to go to Properties, just repeat the process, Query Builder, and in this case we want the HUC8. Now this one's a little interesting because HUC values, hydrologic unit classification values, have zeros at the front of some of them, the numbers are actually treated as text, and some of you saw this in class. So again, I'm going to click on the equal sign, and notice when I click the unique values that you'll see these open single quotes here, or apostrophes. And the value for this one again is 05, 03, 01, 05, I believe. I'm going to check that again. And let's see what we've got here. 05, 03, 01, 05. That's correct. We're going to go back to ARC now. I'm going to double click on that. And that's our value. I'm now going to hit OK. Apply. And now I'm going to look at the extent of this to make sure that we've got what I'm interested in. And yeah, that looks to be the case. So now I've applied each of these criteria. These are definitions of the data. And what that allows me to do is to see only that data, and in fact if I ran analysis, only the data with those attributes would be part of the analysis. Now if I want to make these definition queries permanent, the easiest way to do that is to right click again, and then we simply export the data. So again, in this case I'm going to export this one. And since I'm in my working geodatabase, that's what my default is, I'm going to simply call this SR Creek and hit OK. And two of those features are exported. We're going to add them. And now I can get rid of this. And now I'm going to export the HUC12, same thing. And again, this happens to be the overall study. Okay, I'm going to hit OK with that. And we have that one now. And so again, just to make sure that we have everything we want, I'm going to bring that to the top. You'll notice we have 2 data sets available. So now I'm going to get rid of this one. And now we have 2 new data sets using the definition query to constrain our data by its attributes and then exporting that. In the next one, I will go through the dissolve process, and we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll see you next time.